Right now, 3I Atlas is making its closest approach to the sun. Will it continue on its expected trajectory, or could change direction with a predicted Oberth maneuver? Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb just gave Fox News a detailed breakdown on where things stand, and we will have answers in the coming weeks. But for now, here is what scientists have observed and what theories are being discussed. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find the sources in my detailed articles at ufonews.co, along with in the description box below. Hey ufologists, I'm Cristina Gomez, and welcome to this episode of UFO News Updates. The object will reach its closest point to the sun on October 29th, passing behind our sun, where Earth-based telescopes cannot observe it. High-resolution images from NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter were captured on October 2nd, but due to a government shutdown, the data has not been released yet, nearly a month later. The global scientific community is taking this very seriously. The International Asteroid Warning Network, or the IAWN, announced on October 21st a coordinated campaign to monitor 3I Atlas from November 27th through January 27th of 2026. And as noted in their official statement, comets present unique challenges for accurate measurements because of their expanded morphology, including commas and tails can systematically pull centroid measurements away from their central brightness peak. And this coordinated effort shows how unusual this whole situation is. The IAWN does not typically organize month-long campaigns for standard comets, and they are treating 3I Atlas as a special case that requires precise tracking and multiple observation points around the world. Between October 25th and November 6th, NASA's Europa Clipper and ESA's Hera spacecraft will pass through the ion tail of 3I Atlas, a stream of charged particles extending millions of miles away from the comet. And this rare encounter will allow both spacecraft to be immersed in the tail, providing the first opportunity to detect and sample material from an interstellar comet's ion tail. Researchers use a program called Tailcatcher to predict these encounters with minimum distances calculated at roughly 5 million miles. Now looking ahead, ESA is preparing for more observations. Next month, their Jupiter Ice Moons Explorer, or JUICE, will observe the comet. Though JUICE will be further from 3I Atlas and the Mars orbiters were, it will see the comet just after its closest approach to the sun, meaning it will be in a more active state. ESA is also preparing the Comet Interceptor mission, scheduled to launch in 2029, and this spacecraft will wait in a parking orbit for a substantial pristine comet from the distant Oort cloud, or potentially an interstellar object like 3I Atlas. Though ESA scientists acknowledge the probability of it intercepting such an object remains pretty low. So what makes this object so different from normal comets? Let us explain with what the Hubble Space Telescope revealed. Here's what Avi Loeb mentioned on Fox News.
The sharpest photo we had was from the Hubble Space Telescope, and it showed a glow in front of the object towards the sun, rather than what we see usually around comets, where you see an extension of a cometary tail that goes away from the sun because dust and gas are being pushed by the solar radiation and wind. In this case, it was looking different.
This anti-tail phenomenon, where material appears to glow towards the sun rather than away from it, represents a significant departure from typical cometary behavior. According to observations published by the Nordic Optical Telescope team in their October study, this forward-facing glow changed direction throughout September, eventually showing emissions in both directions. As noted in research from the University of Michigan and Michigan State University, published in August of this year, 3I Atlas is at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous two interstellar objects, being Oumuamua and Borisov. And this makes it the largest interstellar visitor ever detected. The size and trajectory of 3I Atlas raise important questions about where it came from and how it moves through space.
it followed the trajectory that was aligned with the planets around the sun. So perhaps it's on some reconnaissance mission. And most recently, we noticed over the month of September that the glow is changing direction. It's now in both directions, towards the sun and away from the sun. We obtained a very high-resolution image from the HiRISE camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. That's a mission that NASA launched a while ago, and that camera should give us an even crispier image than the one from the Hubble telescope by a factor of 3. So we are waiting for that. The problem is the image was taken on October 2nd. And that's a day after the government shut down, and the claim is that because of the shutdown, NASA is unable to release the data, even though it's almost a month now.
Per insights from NASA's official documentation, the object is moving at approximately 137,000 miles per hour, making it the fastest known object ever observed within our solar system. Its trajectory shows an extremely high orbital eccentricity of 6.137, which means its path is nearly straight rather than curved. But there's more to the story, so don't go anywhere. What scientists discovered about the object's composition, so stay with me. The most critical period for observation is happening right now. The object's position behind the sun creates both opportunity and challenge.
And now, actually, this week, the object is approaching the closest distance from the sun. That's on October 29th. And the problem is we can't observe it from Earth because it's on the opposite side of the sun. So when you look at the sun during the daytime, right now, the 3i Atlas is flying behind it, perhaps for a reason. You know, if it's a technological object, that's the best time for it to do a maneuver when it's closest to the sun, to take advantage of the sun's gravity. That's what we do with our own spacecraft.
If the object were to alter its trajectory, the close approach to the sun would be the optimal time to do so. Research published by astronomers detected atomic nickel vapor in the comet's atmosphere at a distance of 3.88 astronomical units from the sun, nearly 4 times Earth's distance from the sun. Now, nickel detection at such cold temperatures where metals normally would not vaporize represents an anomaly that scientists are still working to explain today. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope also made observations detecting clear signatures of carbon dioxide in the coma, a classic marker for comets. The object developed a green glow in early September, which astronomers initially attributed to dicarbon molecules fluorescing in sunlight, though the exact cause remains under investigation, since it's believed that this object has no dicarbon.
And especially keep our eyes on it for the next few months, just to make sure that it doesn't maneuver and doesn't release any mini probes that could affect the Earth and in an unexpected way. And so altogether, you know, I ranked it 4 on a scale where 10 is definitely technological and 0 is definitely natural. This is now called the Loeb scale, and you know, I say that it is sufficiently unusual for us to keep an eye on it, but it may not be any, it may not raise any reason for concern.
Loeb ranks 3i Atlas at 4 of what he calls the Loeb scale, where 10 represents definitely technological and 0 represents definitely natural. This rank is based on 8 anomalies he has identified, including the trajectory alignment with the ecliptic plane, which has only a 0.2% probability of occurring naturally. The object will reach its closest distance to Earth on December 19th, 2025, just 1 week before Christmas. After that, it will continue its journey, passing within approximately 53.6 million kilometers of Jupiter on March 16th of 2026. The next critical observation window opens in late November when 3i Atlas emerges from behind the sun. Scientists worldwide will be watching to see if its trajectory has changed or if it continues on the predicted path. But not just scientists will be watching this, but even civilians with their conventional telescopes as well.
The question is, will it appear on a different path after passing close to the sun? And of course, if that happens, the stock market may crash, because it would mean that, we have some risk involved. However, if it continues along its original path, it could still be that it releases some probes that go to the various planets and maneuver. So we should keep our eyes on this ball of light to figure out whether it's natural or technological.
The conversation about 3I Atlas touches a broader question about humanity's place in the universe and our readiness to identify unusual phenomena without the bias. The scientific community remains divided on the interpretation of these observations, and the majority of astronomers, including teams at NASA, ESA, and SETI, maintain that all evidence points to 3I Atlas being a natural interstellar comet. A study published in October compared the spectral characteristics of 3I Atlas with the D-type asteroids and the previous interstellar comet Borisov, finding consistency with natural objects. But here's what Michio Kaku mentioned on Newsmax.
Well, there's a split in the astronomical community. The majority faction says, what's all the fuss about? I mean, it's just a rock from outer space, and it's going to come through our solar system for the first time and then come whizzing back out again. It's the third known object from outside our solar system, so what's the fuss? Another faction, however, says, now, wait a minute. Perhaps this is a visitor, an intelligent visitor from another solar system.
And here's something to consider. If advanced civilizations exist elsewhere in the galaxy and send probes to study other star systems, how would we recognize them and what would they look like? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Cristina Gomez, and that is it for today. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.